Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing, sponsored by Braveheart Workshops live with Jill Reynolds. And joining me today from the Kansas City area is Brenda Ringwood. Welcome to the show, Brenda.
Thank you, Jill. It's nice to be here again. This is my second time.
I know. We have some new information though, so we needed you to come back. So, Brenda, share just a little bit about, if you wouldn't mind, to the audience, just a little snapshot about who you are and, maybe a little bit of your journey in life. And then I'd love to lead us to why you're here today.
Okay, well, I've always been in the corporate world, but I've also been self-employed in the corporate world, which is kind of unique. I was a contractor, had a cleaning business and real estate offices, and I just wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And I went down a road that I'm kind of glad I went down, and you have to hear more about that at a later time. However, I will say this: it changed my life, which is what's led me to do what I'm doing today. And because of that, I'm really glad that it happened, although I don't want to go back. So I don't know where you want me to, if you want me to expand on that, or how you want to do it,
Well,
because I
yeah,
kind of want to
why don't
save
you,
it.
yeah, why don't you just share a little bit of where it landed you and
Mhm.
what happened, and then when you came out of that scenario, where it landed you.
All right. Well, during my corporate career, my 300 plus employee business, my several real estate offices career with many agents, along with a cancer diagnosis, some decisions that I made put me in jail for 4 years. And that had a huge impact on my life. Not because I was uprooted from my family, not because I had my rug ripped out from under me, but because it connected me with Christ and it put me back where I was supposed to be all along. And it put me back on a path that I needed to be on, that I should have been on. And it's given me a reason to never go back to that life again.
And what were your charges that landed you in jail, so people know that what they are? If people are listening, they don't know if you committed murder. When someone goes to jail,
Mhm.
the first thing people think is murder. I just
Yeah.
I just
It
think
was
that that's
it was
just
all white. It was all white collar, bank fraud, things like that. I got into business with some bad partners and made some bad choices, and it just kind of led me down a mysterious road.
yeah, yeah. And then tell us a little bit about your journey with cancer, what happened there, so that they know what you were going through physically as well as emotionally and financially.
Yeah, the cancer I had a tumor in my neck, and I had to have it removed. I had to have this surgery where they basically peeled off my ear and cut out a lot of soft tissue. And I had a tumor in my parotid gland, which is it's rare. It's even rare for it to have cancer, and it did. It had cancer in it, and it had already spread to a lymph node in the surrounding area. So they had to remove that, long healing process, and then I had to go through chemo and radiation. And because I was still testing positive for cancer cells, I ended up having to have exploratory surgery where they basically cut open I have a foot long incision, from the top of my belly button down, to do exploratory surgery. There was no cancer found, but I had some cysts on my ovaries that needed to be removed. And then that led to another surgery later. So it was just a long road of chemo, radiation, major surgeries, healing. And that does a lot to your body. It does a lot to your mental state. And when you put it together, it's just very unhealthy, down a path that you don't ever think you're going to see yourself on, because you always say it's never going to happen to me. But cancer
Hmm.
does not discriminate.
And the fear that permeates your body through it all, it just even exasperates the healing because
It
your
does.
body's like holding on to all that fear and emotional trauma from it. And you need to be still and peaceful when you're trying to heal.
And that is so true, because I remember walking into Walmart. I had to get something, and one of my kids said, "Oh, look, that's a cute little outfit," or something, a shirt that was hanging up. And I didn't dare say it out loud, but in my mind, I said, "Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be here. Why do I even need to look at that? I'm here to get what I need to get for whoever I'm getting it for at this time." So thoughts do cross your mind. Was I afraid to die? No, no, because I knew where I was going. but you still wonder what the process is going to be like. Is it going to hurt? What's my family going to go through? And then your priorities become completely different than what they were before.
Mm. Now, when they discovered, or were you the one that found this lump there, and you thought, oh, I better get this checked out, or
Well, I did. I lost a lot of weight. I don't know why I lost weight, probably because I had cancer. And I saw this knot form. It was actually right here. I've had both of my product glands removed since. I've had many surgeries, but so I thought it kind of showed up on my jaw. So I went to the dentist. The dentist said, no, it's soft tissue. It moves. You need to go see a regular doctor. And I put it off. I wasn't in any pain. I wasn't, and prior to that, a year prior to that, my mother had just suffered a stroke. She's fine, but we had to go through that recovery process. And then a year prior to that, her sister had passed away from ALS, who was living in her home. So I had that in 2009, my mother's stroke in 2010, and then my cancer diagnosis in 2011.
so
So I had,
how long did you wait from the time of the dentist to the time you went to the doctor?
probably about 8 months. Quite a
Wow.
while. Yep. I started having really bad headaches and I was getting physically ill. So I ended up in the ER. And I used to get headaches all the time, anyways. I would eat a bottle of Excedrin migraine a week. I mean, just like candy, it would sit on my desk. So I didn't really think anything of the headaches. I had spinal meningitis many, many years ago and had headaches ever since. So I just thought it was just that kind. But I started throwing up. I started sweating. I lost my balance. It was just a different type. So they took me to the emergency room. Of course, they did a CAT scan. That's when they found the tumor. My white count was low. They said, you need to hurry up and get to an ENT as soon as possible. It took me a couple of weeks to even get in with one of them.
Oh,
And then he kept telling me the whole time, it's not cancer, it's not cancer, it's not cancer. Now I'm a biologist by schooling. And I said, I have a tumor and my white count is low, which is your white cells, which is either when they're high, it's an indication of infection. When they're low, it's an indication of cancer. So I said, it's cancer. And he kept telling me, forget everything you know about biology. You're not the doctor. I'm telling you, it's just rare. It's rare. It's rare. So when I had the surgery, he said, good news. It looks good. I don't think it's cancer. I go back in 2 days and I have to have this drainage tube removed. And he says, good news. The tumor came back and there's no cancer in it. I go back in the following week to get my stitches removed. And he says, your lymph node had cancer in it. So I'm sorry, reverse that. My lymph node did not have cancer in it, the first test. The tumor came back that it did have cancer. So they retested the lymph node. And in fact, both of them had cancer in it. And he
did he
said,
apologize?
oh, he did. He says, you're actually taking this better than I am. And I said, well, you had to go through biology once too before you had to get to your doctor's degree. So everybody had to learn the basics there. But my advice to anybody that's getting a biopsy, what happened with mine, if they would have just tested that lymph node and it came back negative, they only tested part of it. They didn't chop the whole thing up. So the whole lymph node was not infected with cancer, just a portion of it. So I tell everybody, if you're getting a biopsy done, if it can be all removed, get the whole thing removed, or enough soft tissue around it so you're getting the majority of it, and then test it all, because they might only test the part that doesn't have it. And then, here you go, 2 years later, now you've got full-blown stage 4 cancer, which could have been
Yeah.
prevented.
And another word of advice to people is always, always, always get your the written report for every test
Yes.
you ever have, because I can't tell you how many times a doctor did a test on me and said everything looks fine. I got the written
Mhm.
report and I read what it was said, and it was like something here's going on, something here's going on, and they just tell you nothing. So then I
Right.
Googled and read the things that said was going on so that I could put a report on my spreadsheet
Mhm.
and then see if it changed. And I've had lung nodules now for a while, and they've grown, and I've had pulmonary embolism. So I keep records of all my stuff. So if I have a second or third or fourth test, I can see if anything's changing. I
Right.
personally can see it.
I do too.
Because
That's why I go to the same hospital. So
hmm
I can, everything is always right there and they can compare, and I tell women, go get that mammogram. You know,
Yep.
they're easy. They don't hurt. I was in and out of there. If you get to a place that runs on time or you get the first appointment in the morning, literally in 10 minutes and I was done.
And
It took
pa-
me
and
longer
pa-
to change.
and
Yes.
pap smear. And,
Yes.
I just lucked out because when my husband and I moved to Branson from Chicago 3.5 years ago, I'd always get my mammogram and my pap smear around
Mhm.
January of every year so I wouldn't forget. And we moved to Branson towards the very last week of June. And so I'd already had my stuff done in January, but I thought, well, by the time they get the records moved and I find a new doctor and blah, 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 I says, I'm just going to go to my doctors one last time to all of them before I left town and then, sign the release so they transfer my medical records. And thank God I did because I went in and my gynae that I'd been going to for years said, this one doesn't look good. I want to send you to uh, a gynecological oncologist. And I said, why? She goes, because I think you might have cancer. So she sent me and we did a full hysterectomy. And thankfully, it was stage 1A. So I didn't need
Mhm.
radiation or chemo. But
That's what mine was.
if I would have waited till January, by 6 months, it would have already progressed.
Yes. And see, I was stage 1A, but I had two different types of lymphoma. I had B cell, um, which I had low, a type that is non-aggressive, which grows very slow, but it's very deadly. And then I had a kind that is very fast-paced, which isn't as deadly. So one was very treatable, one was not. So I had to have a combination of chemo and radiation because of that. That 8 months that I waited, I'm just so fortunate that it just didn't keep dividing and growing and growing and growing.
So
That I
God
was
was really with you.
Yes, he was.
God was
Yes,
really,
he was.
really, really, really with you. So take us now from all of this trauma, really trauma you've been through. You're an amazing, I've seen on your website, Things by Bren. I've seen some of your drawings. You're an amazing artist. That's your drawings on your website, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're just amazing. You're an unbelievably talented speaker. Your story is amazing to share. And a phenomenal event planner as well. And so you've got all these talents and an author, right? And so you've got all these beautiful giftedness that God's given you as a result of this trauma. And so um, I'd love for you to share what has that led you to for 2022? What is on your radar to do in 2022 in February?
I want people to be aware that they have a value, that they have a purpose, and if they haven't found it yet, it's there. And I want them to know that they can really do whatever it is that they want to do in life. It's just a mindset. Yes, they will have to make some changes. Yes, they will have to prioritize things. Yes, they might even have to get some education for it. But if it's something you really want to go after, you can do it. And it doesn't matter what your past is, it doesn't matter what your family is saying or what your fears are. Find a way to get it done. And, maybe you have the best career. Maybe you like your job, you like the people you work with, you like where you are in that company, but we can always strive to do better. In my case, I was really good at everything that I did, but I wasn't happy doing it. I just wasn't happy. So that led to not being happy at work, leads to not being happy at home, leads to not being a good wife, leads to not being a good mother, friend, whatever it is. And I know that I needed to change, but I was so involved money wise, people wise, relationship wise, family wise in this business that I didn't think that I could ever get away from it. And of course, God had other plans for me because not only did I get away from it, he yanked me out of it. But once I got home from spending almost 44 months in a federal holding facility, my health was bad. I ended up having 5 major surgeries the first year that I was out, healing from that. And then I've taken it to, you know what? I am not going to let my past determine what my future is going to be. I'm going to take charge of my life and I'm going to teach others how to do it too. So I like to present to people how they can become the best person that they can be and how they can overcome challenges to do it, what it is that they want to do in life. So we have an event in February called Becoming the Best You That You Can Be, Overcoming Challenges. And it is packed full of over 20 speakers that are going to share their story. They're going to share their talents and how they overcame it. And then they're going to give you how you can do it. They're just going to inspire you. They're going to connect with you. You're going to get to be able to meet with them one-on-one, not just see them from a stage. but you're going to be able to party with them. You're going to be able to, if you want to stay for a Super Bowl party, you can watch the game and interact with these speakers. You can go get a VIP ticket and have drinks with them and spend quality one-on-one time with these speakers. Then there's also breakout sessions where you can ask questions and interact. They're going to be in the same room with you. Once they walk down off of that stage, you can go sit at their table and you can discuss how you can become better, what it is that's holding you back. So there's somebody there that you're going to resonate with. Every story is completely different. Everybody's story.
Yeah. Well, I'm just amazed by you, Brenda, and you inspire me to be a better person whenever I speak to you. I'm so grateful we've connected and met, and I'm going to be there with you. And so
Yes,
I
you are.
can't wait. And you just asked me to speak to, so I'm just honored that you would invite me to be a part of the speaking engagement. And the wonderful part about the event too is it's going to be February 11th through the 13th, which ends the day before Valentine's Day. And so, if you believe in love in any form or fashion, if you have a significant other, drag them along with you and make this a romantic getaway weekend where you both become the best you both can be. Because in a relationship, both people becoming the best they can, they don't become codependent, they become interdependent, side by side instead of enmeshed like this,
Yeah.
or one's here and the other's here. So one comes and it grows and the other one's down here. So bring your partner with so that you can both find healing together and wellness. And if you're not in a significant relationship, come for you because you deserve to have a gift of love to yourself. So make this your Valentine's gift for your own love. And the wonderful part about it is Brenda is making this event available to everyone around the globe. So it's going to be a hybrid event. So you can come in person in Overland Park, Kansas, or you can view it virtually online. And I have the flyer available. First, I'm going to show Brenda's bio and the website on her bio. And tell me if I say it right, comechangeyourlife.com. That's her
That's why we
website.
named the website that,
Yeah.
because we want you to come change your life. We want to
Yeah.
give you the mindset to do that.
And then here's the flyer, Becoming the Best You Can. It's going to be at the Sheridan Convention Center in Overland Park, Kansas. And again, the website is comechangeyourlife.com. And go online today. Don't procrastinate. Go online today and get that ticket. Invite your friends, your family, your neighbors, people at church, people at work, and make this an event where everyone grows in 2002 and makes 2022, not 02, 2022. That's a tongue twister, isn't it?
It is.
2022. And just, shine in your life. So, so Brenda, we know why you've decided to do this. Can you give us just a tidbit of information of why, maybe why, or how did you select the different speakers? Maybe that, because give them an intro. I mean, there's all different walks of life, so maybe a little overview of the schedule, possibly.
Each speaker has their own unique story to tell. I didn't pick a speaker that just goes out and only does motivational speaking for a living. I pick speakers who have been where people are, who have overcome challenges, who use that to feed their passion, their purpose. So I can go to any event and speak on whatever topic somebody gives me to speak about. But it's not my passion. My passion is helping others. My passion is to help others see that they have a skill set, that they have a purpose, and we just need to find it, hone in on it, and make it grow so that they can become what they want to be. And I don't even just mean in a job, becoming a better person, changing the way that you think about yourself, changing the way that you act, changing the way that you speak to become a better person. Because if you act like it's yours, it's going to be. It's going to be. And Dean Storr, one of the coaches that's also a speaker that will be here, he talks about that. He says, you have to act like you're in possession of what you already have, of what you want. You have to act like you're in possession of what you want.
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
speaking it into reality.
well, I know that everyone's going to be excited to see you, especially at the event, because you're an amazing woman. And I understand we have a comedian, professional comedian, Jeremy
Mhm.
Noons, coming.
We
And
do.
we have a professional disc jockey, MC,
Mhm.
and we're going to have a black tie party on Saturday night with dancing. And then again, for those of you who come and want to stay Sunday, the event ends around 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon ish. And then those of that want to stay around till, for the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl Sunday on the 13th, February 13th, Super Bowl. And I just got to do a plug for myself. My birthday is February 12th, so you got to just come and hang out with me and we can celebrate my birthday because
That's
it's the
right.
it's the night of the dance party.
Mhm.
So we're
We'll be
just
singing happy birthday to Jill.
we're going to have a good time. Good, good, good time. So, Brenda, thank you so much for all you do in the world to make people, just help people to see how much and how much they matter to the world and to us and to each other, and then just how much they matter to themselves,
That's right.
to love themselves more. So, thanks again for joining us, everyone, and we
My
look
pleasure.
forward to seeing you at the Becoming the Best You Can Be conference, either in person or virtually. So, get your tickets today. Thanks a lot, Brenda.
You bet. Thanks.